Banana, 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 banana. It's a very special episode of Readings for Squares, brought to you by the Comixology Club.
Brought to you by 008 Studios.
Yeah.
Gotta throw that sponsor in. And with a very special guest, returning, one SoulStar Sketchin. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Better now that you're here. Talking to Higgins is fine, but, you know, when I can talk to you, obviously get that.
It's more special. I got it.
Absolutely. It's for a special episode where we were talking about, normally we talk books, but we're going to talk movies today. A movie that I guess was a long time coming that I didn't think would happen. Second Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
Yeah. 2024 AD.
I mean, It's been rumored for how long now? How long have you rumored this movie?
I honestly, Soul, you're the reason we did this one. You apparently are a big fan of that first movie. Did you?
Yeah, I am.
So how long did you know that this was happening?
Oh, it's been going on for I said well over a decade, probably longer than that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been talking about this for a long time. Oh yeah, long time.
Okay. Yeah,
Michael Key was the first one to talk about it, then Tim Burton. I'm like, okay, they're gonna do something. I don't know.
I see. Yeah, and I guess it's kind of interesting because Tim Burton doesn't typically do sequels, as far as I know.
No, he does not.
But
The only one I know for sure is Batman Returns. This is the only sequel I remember.
Yeah, and that might have been the reason he isn't doing that often.
Well, that's a franchise though, so I mean, who's surprised?
Yeah, I wonder how much of it was the studios trying to convince him to come back, or him trying to convince the studio. But for whatever reasons, it's here now. And first impressions, I liked it.
Okay.
What are y'all's thoughts?
I watched the first one last night, and I watched this one this morning, and I think besides a couple of pretty cheesy scenes, I like this one better, I think.
Okay. So
It had lower lows, but more highs across the board, I think.
Fair enough.
Okay.
How should I put this without spoiling anything? Well, we're gonna spoil the movie, obviously, but
We could
Before I
we could
spoil
do
it,
a bit of non-spoilers and then go into full on
right.
spoilers.
We'll start with non-spoiler first. So here's my non-spoiler version of it, which is one. I will give him credit. He did some pretty bold things I didn't think nobody was gonna do in 2024. That shit I didn't expect at all. You know what I'm talking about. I'm about to say it. I'm just going ahead and say it. I don't give a shit if I spoil this part because he's known for it. Claymation. It's in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I was shocked. I was like, wait, that's claymation, not CGI? Oh my god.
Yeah. It
He actually put it in. It's like, oh my, he actually gave back claymation. What the fuck?
And I'm glad you brought that up because it was one thing that stood out to me. And I think, honestly, if you're going to make a sequel to this movie, that is kind of what people are going in and expecting. That first movie, to me, why it stands out is it's visually just... There's not really a lot like it. I think it's why it holds up that well.
I'll say the original cinematography is perfect. The cinematography for this one is about on par with that, too. So, no problem, sure.
Yeah, it did feel like...
The main thing is, overall, I liked it. Yeah, I definitely liked the movie. I
think
like
they
the
made
fact
it
that they
like...
used practical effects.
Yeah, that's what I like. And pretty much everything looked like they did it like they did in the 80s, but with like better equipment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now one thing I will say about that is it's a little cleaner, which I think kind of makes some of the older effects not look as well as they could. I think the stop motion and the claymation looks better in that first movie because you are on older cameras, older display, like all that. It hides that stuff a lot better and blends it. And I also feel like they maybe used some CGI to kind of clean it up after they did it. So, but overall, it was really pleasant to see and gave you that nostalgia that you were, well, at least I was looking for.
I don't know why I did. I wasn't thinking in my brain. I was like, okay, they're gonna use more like CGI shit. I was thinking to myself, like, no, claymation. Like, oh, you really went claymation? Holy shit!
Yeah, and I think the use of it was pretty inventive for story reasons, but also maybe behind the scenes reasons. There's one bit in particular I want to talk about when we go into spoilers. But yeah, it fits that vibe of that first movie and kind of following up with a sequel so well. New cat, open the door. He loves podcasts, as we all remember. But yeah, another thing I really liked about this, on top of the effects and the look of it, was the cast is really strong here.
Yeah, I do.
Oh yeah.
I love when the
Yeah, Justin Theroux really knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, it's got a weird balancing act that the first movie didn't have to deal with, where you're bringing back fan favorites while also adding in new characters. And I think for the most part, all the new characters and omitting a character. Yes,
because
I think
if you know the reason, you know the reason. You know the reason.
Yes,
you know.
Yeah.
It's not a great reason.
No, it's a terrible
I think they
reason,
worked
but
around it in a really clever way.
I'll give them some credit. They did try. Like, you know what? Fuck it. You tried anyway.
Yes. It was very early on where they start to kind of play with that. And I think, it works to pretty great effect here. And yeah, the new characters were kind of my biggest worry, but I really liked everyone they threw in here. Obviously, the big one you have is Jenna Ortega. She's just the hot pick right now for bringing back these weird kind of horror.
She's the new goth girl, basically. Let's be honest. She's the new goth girl. She is.
And it kind of just makes sense to cast her as Winona Ryder, the original goth girl.
You know what?
As her daughter.
Actually, I almost say if the movie was like slightly skewed a little bit, you could easily call this a continuation with Beetlejuice and almost Addams Family. You almost could.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You really could.
Yeah, and I think it's something that, because Tim Burton, he's been active, but I haven't really loved a lot of his more recent movies. I think he's got a really good handle on these kinds of properties, just where it's gross, it's horror based, but it's supposed to be heartfelt, goofy, campy. I think he's a good pick, and I don't think he really messes up here. I think the pacing of this at points is just off. There's
I
a
agree.
bit in this that you can cut entirely, and I don't think it hurts.
I'll almost say it'd be certain characters you could straight up remove, and I wouldn't even miss them. I'll be honest with you on that one.
Yeah, and
like it'll be spoiled if I say it right now.
yeah. If
I say anymore, like, I'll spoil if I say that.
We'll definitely get into it, because I think you're thinking the same things I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, what else do you say? Like, if you've seen this first one and you didn't know anything going into this one, I would say, you'll probably like it. Like, it's.
I will say this: this is definitely not aimed for Gen Z. Hell no.
Well,
no.
What's interesting
I'm
is
not trying to be mean about it. I'm gonna be honest too. Like Gen Z some might like it, some might not. That's okay.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that they're still trying to get that crowd, because obviously casting Jenna Ortega, there's a reason for that.
That was the reason for Gen Z, straight up.
Yeah, and it seems to have worked, because
it kind of did.
We watched it today, and
so
our
even
theater's
for example,
pretty packed.
Gen Z or younger millennials, they know they definitely heard or seen Beetlejuice. Ain't no goddamn way you haven't. I'm sorry, ain't no way.
Yeah, you know the memes, if anything.
Like bullshit, you heard of it.
We haven't talked about him yet, but obviously we have to. Casting in mind, Michael Keaton returning to this doesn't skip a beat either.
He's perfect here. He's perfect.
It's like he never stopped being Beetlejuice. Honestly.
Dude, he looks exactly like, actually, because I mentioned too, Higgs, we mentioned about like you watched the original before you watched this one. I did the opposite. After I watched this new one, like last night, I rewatched the original just to like kind of remind myself of stuff. He looks almost the same. There's almost no difference.
Yeah, maybe a little skinnier. Maybe.
That's about it. Beyond that, it looks the same.
Yeah, and I like the conscious effort in the makeup and the design, not to, they're probably working with a bigger budget. Mm-hmm. They're like, no, we're still going to cover him in like the white face paint and the black like eyeshadow. It just looks like a man in a wig and makeup, but I really enjoy that.
My only one concern, it's not a spoiler at all to the movie, is one Christmas of the movie. I'm going to be honest about this. This feels more like it should have been formatted as a miniseries of a movie.
Ah, okay.
It did have little separate plot beats that you could like.
Certain characters show up, but then they don't almost ever fucking return until like way later. I'm like, what was the point of that? I'm sorry, like, what? Why did you introduce them like that? And Come on.
Yeah, it's very segmented in its execution of certain plot points.
That more than once too. By the way, I'm like, stop doing that. That's annoying.
Yeah, I can see that, and that was kind of my issue with the pacing of it. Is I think for the overall plot that I really enjoyed, it felt weird to jump away from that for 10-15 minutes to follow this other thing that, like I forgot about, or was just like,
exactly.
Oh, yeah, we were doing this. So I could see it starting out as a series, and then I guess makes more sense financially to release it as a movie. One thing I did appreciate about this that movies don't do that much anymore is it was the length it needed to be. It's only an hour 40, and if this was 2 hours, I probably wouldn't like it as much, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah,
that's what I thought about. What's the original? I was like an hour 30. I don't think they could have done anything else, and this one, like an hour 30, probably would have been better too.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
It's like knock out like one or two things, and then it's perfect.
There's a couple of jokes that were kind of. Most jokes were okay. Other ones, a little sprucing up. Just a few, not that many. Just a few of them. I'm like, because could add a little more to that, but okay, fine, whatever. I'll let it go.
Yeah, I would also almost attribute that to Tim Burton and just how he thinks people talk to each other.
Yeah, I know.
It's a charm that he brings in a way, but also his dialogue can be clunky at points because even the normal people in this, which there's not a lot of.
It feels like Grandpa wrote the script, but at the same time, he at least tried to put a little modernization on it.
Yes,
to spice up a little bit. Like, well, he at least tried. Okay, I see you're trying.
Yeah. The other kind of good thing I can say about this is there's a lot of nostalgia. There's a lot of playing the hits.
Yeah.
Like you see a lot of what you saw in the first movie. I think they did have some fun kind of expanding the lore and just showing you more of like the limbo purgatory area. That was always my favorite thing of the first movie. And you get a lot more of that in play as far as the people working there and their personalities and what they bring. Willem Dafoe's a new character in this who works in that, and I just a delight to see anyway. But I think what they're able to do with his character is really fun for this weird Burton-esque world we're revisiting.
I'm gonna make fun of this. I don't like his makeup, but god damn it actually works.
Yeah.
At first I'm like, that's a very obvious makeup, but the more I kept going, like, I kind of like it actually.
I like how they didn't really shy away from, we're using prosthetics, we're using just cheap makeup, or it looks cheap, and they just play it straight.
It was bugging me at first, but after a while, I didn't give a damn no more. I'm like, you know what, I kind of like it.
And that's kind of the perfect description of experience this, is you really, if you like what it's trying to do, you really settle into this. Like, again, this movie, like the first one, looks like it's going to look, and it doesn't try to look like anything else, and it just embraces that, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, just Tim Burton, creepy, spooky stuff. Nothing too fancy. He's like, the people make the shot work if they need to.
Yes, yeah. I don't really have anything else to say in non-spoilers except that if you're interested, I'd say go see it.
Yeah, I agree. It's worth watching.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad we can all agree on that.
All right, so we're going to spoil the shit out of this now, right?
I spoiled the absolute shit out of it, and I'm excited. I'm happy to do so, honestly.
Oh, yeah, I want to spoil this hardcore, yes.
Do you guys want to start out with, like, our favorite joke, and then we'll jump into the real nitty-gritty stuff?
A funny bit? What was your favorite funny bit, Higgins?
I really liked when, Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice says, it's not your lucky day, like, fucker, or something like that. And then he says, what the fuck, later on in the movie, and it says, what the beep? Because it's a PG-13 movie, so they can't say fuck more than once.
They used it earlier. Yeah, that is a fun little play right there.
That feels a little fourth wall breaky.
It threw me off, actually. I was like, wait, what?
What the beep? And you're like, oh, yeah, they can't.
You said before, I was like, oh, wait, it's PG-13, that's right.
Yeah.
That's a good joke. Soul, what's your favorite funny bit?
See, I actually keep thinking about the what is it? It's two parts. One is the wedding cake where he's doing the whole entire song. Oh my god, the entire song,
The extended song
Oh,
sequence.
yeah.
Yeah.
the whole damn bit. I'm like, god damn it, he did it again.
I
Snuck it
enjoy
in
the
again.
build up to it because there's a few bits throughout the movie where he starts to kind of break into song and then it just
Yeah.
trails off. But it was clearly leading into that joke where they're just going to do the
I
whole
do actually
sequence.
like, though? They actually go into Beetlejuice's actual origin. I like that. They finally give us
Oh
an
yeah.
origin.
Yeah. It was. I
was
wasn't
actually
expecting
surprised,
it.
like, wow, they actually give an origin.
Yeah, and what I like about that, because you have to be you have to be careful with that because part of I think the appeal of that first one and the world that they set up is you don't know a lot. You can kind of assume and things make you curious where you want to know more, but at the same time, I don't want everything explained to me. And when they started the origin story, I was like, oh, we're gonna figure out like how he became Beetlejuice. You don't even figure that out. You just figure out what he was doing before he died.
Just before he died,
Um,
yeah.
And that he
Which
was
you see
kind of
some
awful as a
assholes
human.
shit.
Yeah.
He's piece of still. Like, oh, you were an asshole. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Exactly. It's perfectly in line with what we already knew. It gives you a little just kind of hint at why is this guy, because when people die in this universe, they just get sent to that waiting room before hell. But he's obviously above all that. And
Right.
it's just because he's a horrible, horrible little man.
Yeah, I mean,
Who can
he's
kind
shit.
of talk his way out of anything.
And he knows how to work the system in there.
I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that as well, to see what he's been up to in those 30 years since the first one. And he's just become a manager,
Yeah.
which is also his way of
You know what?
not doing anything or atoning.
Yeah, not toning, not learning anything. Like, no, that's Beetlejuice. That sounds like
Yes.
him.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
What was it? You said you had two parts to that joke that you really liked?
Another one I like, actually, maybe it should not make me laugh as much as it did, but damn it made me laugh. The Soul Train shit.
Oh yeah, no, I did.
I don't know why it made me laugh so hard. I'm like, why is it so goddamn funny?
They just got a bunch of people dancing disco out there, waiting to go to the eternal beyond.
It's like I know the reference, but god damn it. Just put it in the movie.
I wasn't sure what they were gonna do with that, but they just kept saying Soul Train, so I was like, something 80s is gonna happen again.
Yeah, because I kept saying, they're like, okay, they're gonna do something. And they start doing it, like, really? We're doing this? Okay,
On
fine.
board.
And that's another thing of it trying it to be this 4-quadrant movie that appeals to everyone. That joke is only for people
Basically
like
our
us and
crowd.
older.
Yeah.
Like no kid is going to care anything about that or
No.
notice
The
it.
Gen Z doesn't give
Yeah.
a fuck about that part. Ain't no way. They might laugh a little bit, but nah, they don't care.
Yeah, it's one of those things like you can laugh in the context of the moment, but it's only funnier if you kind of know what they're playing off of. And
So I swear to God, I was like they're not gonna do joke twice, are they? They sure they're like, God damn it! They did it again.
yeah, they
People
do
laugh,
it
like,
for
okay, fine, that was funny.
they do it for a happy ending for 2 characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
One which is not really there.
Yeah, not really.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that now.
We all knew about this, right?
I had no idea that he was a shitty person until I looked up the show times for this movie, and they were like, "This guy sucks," just kind of in the margins. And I was like, "Oh man, where's he gonna be at?"
He's gonna be here in spirit and nothing else. Yeah. So sorry, I'm just looking up his name real quick. Yes. So this movie also sees the return of Lydia's parents, played by Winona Ryder, her stepmom, and her dad, who dies at the beginning of this movie, and he's played by Jeffrey Jones.
Yeah.
Yes, who real life creep and awful person. So
Don't
when
look it
they
up,
mention
or if
him,
you want to.
yeah,
Yeah, well,
you can look it up if you want. It's not great. When they start bringing him up, and immediately like he died.
For YouTube safety, I'm just gonna say he's a map. Okay, we'll say that.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Yeah,
We'll keep it at that.
well, we can keep it at that. But I like how they work around it, where the character is not an awful person, and
Yeah,
they
the character's
use him to
alright.
kind of lead the plot. But obviously, they don't want to show this guy. The only time you see him is the image of him on the tombstone, which I don't know if you noticed this. I didn't talk to Higgins about it. His tombstone is a shark fin.
Oh yeah, shark fin. Yeah.
Because the shark is what killed him.
I didn't even notice
crashed.
that.
He has like a glass shark fin.
I only noticed it
right,
after
it
they
is.
cut back to it, and I'm like, that's a shark fin, because the thing that happened to him, that's a good just little fun jokes kind of sprinkled throughout. But
We go into no part of it stuff, which is the part that surprised me the first time I saw it. The claymation. I was shocked.
Oh yeah, that's the
So
first
first
time
I-
we really
Yeah.
saw them.
I was thrown off entirely. I was like, wait, what? Wait, that's claymation. That's claymation.
yeah,
It had like robot chicken look to it.
Yeah,
very
it did.
crude.
I mean,
Shark.
like, it looked like a more crisp version of it. Like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
This actually kind of works. All right, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah, for a what's it, flashback scene? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's a flashback. You know what? That works. Yeah.
yeah, it perfectly fits within the world of Beetlejuice that we know. And
So at first, I thought it was. I really thought it was like bad CGI at first until I realized what's going on. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're doing.
yeah, and I don't know, it just maybe it's because I know why they were doing it, but I thought it would end there, and they would never mention his character again. But he's kind of a recurring
Yeah. He pops
character
up.
throughout this. I mean, most of him is a recurring character. He's missing his head, and he's voiced by a man who's clearly not the same guy.
No, definitely not. Definitely not close.
And one thing I've always really enjoyed about Tim Burton is he's weirdness first, but he'll have kind of sweet stories deep down. So I like by the end of it, Catherine O'Hara and his character end up reuniting and getting on the Soul
Yeah.
Train to go to the Great Beyond together. I'm like, that's a sweet thing that only
Yeah.
Tim Burton could do. Also, I didn't talk about her in non-spoilers, but Catherine O'Hara is just a highlight of this film for me.
Oh yeah, she's better. She's
Yeah.
better in this movie than the first one. I think that's one of the parts where I was like, okay, I like this movie better.
Yeah. I think in this one, she's compared to the original, she's way more likable. Way more likable.
Yes.
Well, and just featured more, I guess. I guess the
Yeah.
first movie is based on Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis. So you're like, we don't really need to focus on the shitty people that are buying the house.
Yeah.
But now they are the main characters, so we do gotta dive into her a bit more.
Yeah.
Also,
It,
I kind of noticed, I know you'll notice as well, they're kind of doing some bits too that's kind of like a nod to the original Beetlejuice cartoon series too. I noticed that too a few times.
I
They're
didn't
doing,
watch
like, little
that.
nods. But like, a few little jabs here and there. It's like small
Okay.
ones.
Okay.
Really.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's cool that they were able to kind of work that in there. It,
Worked in it like a little bit. It's like a tiny
Yeah.
bit. Especially the character played by Winona Ryder, Lydia, because she mentions like she's had, because she kind of implies she's had past encounters with Beetlejuice as well. No way she said it. Like so, yeah. It's like, I ran into Beetlejuice before. Like hold on. So wait, did you run into him more than once? You know what I'm saying?
yes.
Because the
Yeah.
movie version, you only ran into him one time. You talking like you see him like multiple times. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
It kind of implies the Beetlejuice show a little bit because that was the serious version. You know,
Yeah.
they were. Well, it was a little different. They were friends in that one. In this version, obviously they're not friends. No,
yeah.
they're not friends. No.
No.
Yeah,
But
it felt like they were slightly more connected than they are in the first one, where he's just trying to like kidnap her, basically.
Yeah,
But in
he's
this
just being
one,
a
it's
creep.
like we're begrudging friends almost.
Mhm.
It's a little bit
It's like
step in the right
you notice the way
direction.
they like interact with each other throughout the movie when they interact. They do kind of talk like they know each other enough to go like, okay, I trust you enough. You know what I mean? That's about it.
It's like, I can trust you to save my daughter, but I still don't want to get kidnapped by you.
Exactly.
I didn't think I was gonna like that they're just rehashing the he's trying to marry her plot. It works a lot better than I think. I think with a story, which might be the weakest part of this for me,
Yeah.
the
Story's
new
weak as
stuff
hell.
is really good, and then coming back to certain plot points again, like the marriage thing, it still works, but you're kind of just, yeah, I get it. I've seen this before. We're doing a little kind of Beetlejuice messes with the crowd bit. Like it still works really well. But I want to get back to the newer stuff, like in the newer relationships. One thing I really liked about bringing Catherine O'Hara back is the relationship between her and Winona Ryder has grown. Even if we didn't see it, we get to see the result of it. Like they're there for each other, they talk to each other, they console each other, and they also call each other out on their bullshit.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
that part was well done.
She was just so good. It was nice to see someone come back like Michael Keaton, who just steps immediately back into the role like they never stopped doing it, and it's evolved in a way that is new and entertaining, but still fits.
I also want to kind of ask, was he practicing this entire time off camera? Because it feels like he didn't miss a beat at all.
Yeah, like the voice was a spitting image. And like just the way he acted and everything like that, it just like lined up exactly like it was 88 from like 1988 basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't think he ever stopped. He just like is that guy outside of the movie world.
Yeah, he's a great actor, and it was kind of fun to see him come back to his older, kind of more comedic days, which he still does now, but to come back to a role this old, and even just the way he moves is it's so natural for him still.
You can tell by the way he plays Beetlejuice, he absolutely fucking loves his character. There's no question
yes.
about it. This is his favorite one. You can tell by the way he's moving. It's like, no, he loves his character. This is his favorite.
I think so. I think he's happy to be back and happy to do it again. He's also happy to make that money, but who isn't?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Winona Ryder's character gets as much to do as I would like, and also she's kind of watered down compared to the version of her from the first one. They kind of do some sweet mother-daughter stuff with her and Jenna Ortega, but she's kind of just there to advance the plot. I think the best thing she gets to do is teaming up with Beetlejuice to save her daughter from purgatory.
Honestly, those parts were some of the best in the entire movie, in my opinion. Those were like some of the best parts. It really was. Because whatever it is, when those two team up, it fits perfectly. Like, yeah, you know what? That's perfect.
Yeah. It's that fun kind of buddy comedy of one clearly wants the two of them to be together and work, just work on this, and the other one's just like, I have to be here and I have to be next to you, and I hate it.
Yeah.
The new characters, again, are also a really good addition. Specifically, I think Jenna Ortega just is a natural kind of character to throw in.
Yeah.
Justin Theroux's really good in this.
I think
he's kind of the douchey boyfriend.
I think he was my favorite new one. Yeah. That guy. I think I laughed more at like stuff that he said than anybody else in that entire movie.
Shit, didn't he?
It was like the perfect like shitty guy.
Yeah.
That was another really funny part. It's like he like thrusts a proposal in on Winona Ryder, and she was like basically said no, and then he like kind of talks her out of it, and she's like, okay, I guess, and he just turns around and just goes, she said yes.
He's just one of those guys that
he's that guy,
kind of breaks you down to get what he wants and then twists it in front of everyone, even though
that slimy type boyfriend who just keeps wearing it down, so you just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I guess. You came to my house every day and asked me to marry you, so yeah, I guess so. And we'll be together forever now. And I like it brought back an old 80s movie trope where he gets his comeuppance and gets killed by a weird sandworm.
He's very much an 80s villain, but like the most smarmy version of it.
Yeah.
Like, I think until we saw him too much, you see just like a normal guy with like some slick back hair, and then like you get to like where you actually see him as a character and notice that he has this one really small ponytail in the back, and you're like, oh, this guy's gonna suck.
Ponytail shit, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, this guy's gonna really suck now.
Yeah.
No. I actually really like about one of my favorite parts. It's really simple, because he thought that Lydia was going through an episode when in the attic with the house models and shit. I knew exactly what he's gonna do. He's like, so we're gonna get through. I was like, don't you do it? I know you're gonna do, motherfucker. I know you're gonna do. Don't do it. He's like, just like, God damn it, fucking idiot. I knew he was gonna do that. I knew it.
It is just fun having everyone else kind of openly hate him. And I think what makes that interesting is
shits on him. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and what makes it interesting with a guy like that is he's not technically doing anything wrong, but also anytime you're around him for more than a few minutes, you're just like, God, why is she with him? Why does he manage to stick around?
So fucking lame.
Yeah, we're sick of you. Like, even to the point where when he's getting what he wants, people are still just rinsing him, because I think there's a bit where they end up at the altar and he's already there, and he's just doing what he always does. He's rambling, trying to talk people, convince people that he's great, and Jenna Ortega just shuts it down. She's just like, are we doing this marriage thing or not? I don't want this to happen, but also I don't want to be around you anymore than I have to.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't remember. There's like a scene with him and Catherine O'Hara where she's like screaming to like capture some art piece
for art.
She's like screaming, and then he comes up and he's like, "Oh, do you need a hug?" And she was like does like an actual scream, and like, "No,
I'm good, thanks."
Ah, no!
Yeah.
That was an actual scream.
Yeah, the others were like fake and just for show, but that one was like a real one.
A legitimate, like, just feeling of disgust and no, I don't want this, and I don't want you. Yeah, he's the second best villain in this movie. The first one was one I wasn't expecting, and then the villain / character I could have done without. Nothing against her. Monica Bellucci's in this as Beetlejuice's ex-wife / soul-sucking demon.
Which, by the way, I'm gonna be honest, that's a waste of a character. It really was. That was a total
It
waste.
was.
I was so mad. I was like, what the fuck? So that build up?
Yeah, that's the thing, is because she's kind of what you expect to be the villain throughout the whole movie, and I love the effect of her sucking souls out of people.
Look at my fingers real quick. That's the entire time she showed up in the entire movie.
Hold it farther from the camera.
Oh, it's 3 fingers.
Oh, there it is.
Wait, what does this represent?
The time she actually showed up in the movie, period.
Oh, yes. See, I didn't even know that, because she would be gone
her
for
first appearance,
30 minutes.
the appearance in the laundromat, and then the fucking wedding. My God, you know how much time that's spent between those? Oh my God. I literally forgot about her. I literally did.
Yeah, and
I was like, wait, who's this? Oh, that's right, the wife. I forgot. You were in this movie still? What the fuck?
And it just hits the brakes hard on the whole movie, and you have to watch it, and it's not even bad. It's just nothing. And
Yeah, it's nothing.
Go away from it for another 20-30 minutes, and again, like, I think the character and the idea is really interesting. I almost feel like it should have just been a villain in a follow-up movie if they were to do one.
Yeah, I agree. Should have been a follow-up or something.
But I also think the reason it's in here, this movie's only an hour 40, 45, so it's pretty short. I think they needed it to kill time until the bigger stuff. Like, with the reveal coming from, because Jenna Ortega meets a boy, a cute boy, and it turns out that he's the worst guy in this movie. That's a really great villain that I didn't expect, but we needed to kill time till he got there.
More time on him, because that was a good build up on him. Yeah, good build up.
Yeah, the reveal of, she finds him in the treehouse. I knew something was up when you see his parents, because you don't see the back of their head. I mean,
no, I knew something was up the moment when we started talking about his parents. They're passing by, and then show the faces. I'm like, okay, something's up.
Yeah,
something's up. That's sussy. That's sus.
Yes.
I knew someone like, oh no, something's wrong.
And then I didn't think about the fact that like he had the book.
Yeah,
and even then I was like, that should have been like the biggest tip off in the world.
Yeah,
but didn't even like cross my mind.
No, because he's a cute boy.
Immediately, I was like, how do you get that book? There's only one way to get that fucking book. You know what I'm saying? There's only one way to get it.
I just assumed, and like I guess it was because I just watched it. I was like, I guess he got the book from the first movie's like book. That just happened to end up in like a thrift store, and then happened to find it.
Thrift store or something kind of funny.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. I guess they got it out. Like they cleaned out their attic and just like, I don't know, left it.
Well, it's actually a good point you make, because there's even a line where, because he's reading Crime and Punishment or whatever.
Crime
Yeah.
Punishment,
And it's like I get books from local stores, used or whatever. So they kind of built that in. So I guess, throw you off the scent. And
It worked.
it turns out he's a ghost that wants to swap lives with Jenna Ortega. I think all that's really great and leads into the really good stuff where they go into purgatory to break her out. But he doesn't show up for probably the first 30 minutes.
Almost 45.
Yeah, it takes a minute. So I think they needed to throw in Monica Bellucci to just get something going, have some stakes, some tension until that. Because then you see her one more time to get killed by the sandworm.
I forgot.
Oh, there's four
times. I remember now. It was four. It was four. I remember. Oh
yeah, because she kills Bob.
Remember Bob? Yeah.
I like Bob.
R.I.P. Bob. You're my boy.
What I like about that is Bob's probably the guy that shrunk his head at the end of the first movie, and now they're friends. And he just sacrificed him for no reason.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's a shame because adding new effects in, new visuals, new characters, she seems to fit the most in with that first movie. Mm-hmm. There's just not enough to do with it.
She did have a really cool intro scene.
Her intro sequence, that was kind of
cool. That's what I was just about to say, where she's like stapling herself together.
Yes, I love that. That was cool. I like that. With Danny DeVito, I didn't expect Danny DeVito, by the way. I was like, Danny DeVito? Oh shit! That was like a nothing.
It was like a nothing cameo. It's like, Danny DeVito, can you just be a little gross? We don't really need you for much. Just be a little gross.
We're just gonna put some blood packs in your mouth to be good to go.
Yeah, paint yourself blue, and then be a gross janitor. And he's like, okay, so every Friday night for me.
Yeah, he's like, I already have blood packs ready to go. It's fine. Yeah.
Is it blood packs?
What? It's like pus packs. It's gross.
Yeah, like greenish yellow.
But I agree that her introduction is the best thing they do. And again, it's just natural Tim Burton.
Hell, I'll be really honest with you. At first, I thought it was Patricia. I thought it was legit Patricia Adams. Straight up, I was like, "Is that Patricia Adams? Oh shit!"
Yeah.
Wait, she's canon to this? Oh shit!
Big crossover event.
For like the briefest second, I thought it was just like, Gina Davis coming back. They're like, oh, they brought her back now. I didn't realize it was going to be an evil person at first.
Yeah.
And I was like, also, why is she cut in half in pieces?
They kind of imply what happened, but
you find out eventually. But I was wondering, like, when I thought it was Gina Davis, I was like, why is Gina Davis cut into pieces? She didn't die like that. She fell off a car. She fell off a bridge.
That's a hell of a bridge.
Well, I also enjoyed the miniature and model work they brought back for this too. I think that's always a fun thing to bring into a modern movie these days. Just something that is from that time where that they had to do it, but now it's just like, oh, it's a miniature of a town and the bridge. Like, I'm really into this for some reason.
Oh yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I think it's the biggest thing I liked about this was just going back to that kind of old school filmmaking in a modern context really works for me. And besides the Monica Bellucci stuff, I think it's pretty tight, this movie. It doesn't really waste moments outside of that.
Yeah, the only thing they go long on, which is like half the part, is like I think there's like 4 or 5 like musical numbers, and they spend like 5 minutes on those like each time. They're like, this is where we need to spend our time.
It's also interesting the choice of musical numbers. Like,
I noticed that too.
I don't know why you picked this song. It works, but I don't know why you did this.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I don't know why you're picking this, but it does work.
They had a lot of jokes in here. Catherine O'Hara was talking to that priest, and he's talking about like the light shining through the darkness, and thou'll find yourself in the land of promise, and she's like, what? And then just like walks away.
Well, what I also like about that, because that priest comes back and forth a few times, and he's just the small town priest who's a drunk.
Oh yeah, no, it's like Wine glasses filled to the brim.
Yes, and he picks up Justin Theroux at one point, and then like takes a 6-pack and puts it in the back seat because it was in the front seat with it.
Right there.
and that's one thing I really liked about this too is there's a lot of jokes that they don't honestly call a lot of attention to. Willem Dafoe's character is a investigator in Purgatory who was an actor.
That's my favorite character in the whole movie right there.
Yeah.
My favorite character.
He clearly was, in his past life, was on like a 70s, 80s hard-boiled detective show, and that was like the best thing he ever did. But he's also not a great actor because at one point he's giving a motivational speech to the officers, and there's a woman behind her, or there's a woman behind them with cards, like with his script, just flicking through. and they don't really call a ton of attention to it at first. And I love those little moments. And there's like an assistant who constantly hands him a coffee that he never drinks. He just like smashes and then throws away.
Just give the coffee, just crush that shit and toss it.
It's like, I don't know.
What? You know what? I kind of like it.
I love that they were able to build on the lore of this and not make it a drag. Any like new thing in that office building is just, gosh, it's so funny.
Yeah, if they spent any more time in the office building, it'd be a really boring movie. I'll be honest. If they spent any more time there, it'd be a really boring movie. Like I can tell where they cut corners, but I didn't mind because it with the way they set the netherworld, it does make sense.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot, because it was started in that first movie, but just that would be a living hell to die and end up in a waiting room like that. Which is, I watched an honest trailer about the first Beetlejuice movie the other day, and they basically said this is what the experience of the American healthcare system is like. And you're like, yeah, it would be hell. You're like, I don't care if I'm going down or up at this point. I just want to be out of here.
Just don't want to be sitting in this chair anymore.
Yeah. Oh. I don't really have anything else to add. I had a fun time with it, and I didn't have a ton of expectations going in. Tim Burton hasn't necessarily impressed me in a really long time, but I'm glad he came back to this. This was a fun return.
Yeah. No, I liked it. I can't super think of anything else. The evil boy was kind of hot. Justin Theroux was a really good douchebag. Brad Pitt was an executive producer, so I guess he really likes.
I was like, Brad Pitt? Really?
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's his production company. He's just doing the rounds, getting that money. Don't blame him.
I mean, I don't blame him. It's a known property, so yeah.
Real quick, have I been assuming his name is spelled like Beetlejuice, but really it's not this whole time? Because you see his name in this, but it's not spelled Beetlejuice, like traditionally. It's like Geeuse.
That's the name of the... That's how you spell the constellation and like the actual spelling of it. Huh. And I think the beetle and the juice is how he gets them to say it.
Yeah.
Because in the first movie they're saying Beetlejuice a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, I must have forgotten about that.
Yeah.
There's a little setup section where there's like saying his name, but it doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, got it. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, that's actually the correct way to spell it, but the way you have to pronounce it is Beetlejuice.
Okay.
Yeah.
You first just say Beetlejuice.
There you go. Now I know. I'm glad we all got down to the bottom of that. And by that I mean I'm glad you guys helped me out.
Hey, if I hadn't
bothering me.
If I hadn't watched the first one like this morning, then I wouldn't have picked up on it either.
You'd be as lost as me. We can't have that. We can't both be lost on this show. But what we could do is do a little fun segment where we talk about something different.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to do like here, I can go like the... Alright, nobody talk. I'm just going to start a theme song. I don't want to interrupt anybody. Alright. It's like do. Reading's pretty cool. And see, I'm going to flip and reverse because normally I interrupt and be really like angry and like jump in, and it's abrasive.
It's scary.
Because I'm talking about movies and video games, but now I'm talking about books, so you gotta be quiet like the library.
It's a lot more calmer. Yeah, your approach is a lot more calm.
So
to
maybe
play
a
off of
comic book or a
so-
book that you've been reading.
So to play off of that, I didn't tell Higgins this. Soul actually read Sentient, a comic that we just talked about on our prior episode.
I didn't even know that was gonna happen.
I told you I had a
So-
surprise for you.
Yep.
So,
And I just led into it perfectly.
I
Just all
literally
works
read
out.
it, like the other day.
I guess because I'm wearing my podcast shirt.
You're just always in podcast mode.
Yeah.
Yes, so we talked a lot about Sentient, but I want to hear Soul's thoughts because I just kind of sent it to you on a whim because I'm like, Soul reads comics. Maybe I'll like this one. And I didn't expect you to read it, but I'm glad you did. So what do you think?
Like I said, I almost forgot you even sent it to me. I just happened to just reread it. I was like, oh shit, send me that. Let me look this up right now. Went ahead and read it. I really liked it. I liked it way better than I thought it would, to be honest. So yeah,
Okay.
This is very good.
Yeah.
I had a very strong Lord of the Flies vibe from this.
Oh
Yes, absolutely. It well, you're big on art, so anything about the art in particular stand out to you with that book?
I recognize the artist. I forgot his name. I have to go look it up.
Gabriel Walta.
Gabriel Walta. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I recognize his artwork. Did he work on the Punisher? Because it feels like he did. I was looking at work. It looks like stuff from the Punisher. It feels
He's
like
definitely
he
worked on
has.
Marvel.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've seen his work before. I was like I've seen his artists before. I know I have.
Okay.
Very certain. But I mean, it's a mix of like horror and like deep sci-fi, deep sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, the trope of the name Sentient, which is the AI Valerie.
Yeah.
That helps the kids out because the adults ain't helping them no more. Ain't no way. Nope.
Not helping anybody.
They're not helping nobody no more. No. And basically, these kids don't even realize they're caught in this political bullshit. They have almost nothing to do with it because they're just too young to even understand it right now.
Yeah, they're just going to school and now they gotta like learn how to weld or something like
I
that.
gotta get a job. It's disgusting.
I'm just sitting here like you could almost kind of parallels with almost today's world in a way where like kids are clearly seeing, I won't say what side is fighting the other, but I think you kind of know what I'm talking about here. But gee, it's like there's an election coming soon. I don't know.
Throwing kids into a situation like that, they're clearly not ready for and shouldn't even have to deal with. It's handled really well. And kind of what we talked about is I wish there was more of it to kind of just give us more of the political side of things and what led to this, what led to the Earth being so messed up. We're probably only going to get this story. I don't know. It's part of the reason I sent it to you.
Because it kind of gave me almost like I said, Lord of Flies and a little bit of Aliens too kind of vibe too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Similar kind of vibe.
Just kind of gross and grimy, and ships just working as well as they can to do the one job they need to do, and not really built to do anything else.
I was actually kind of feeling for the AI itself because you can clearly see it's evolved enough to understand that these are children. They need to be handled like children.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of once the adults are died, they're like, well, what's my programmer say? Whoever's the oldest has to be in charge. Okay.
Yeah. That's kind of the fuck thing about that as well for the main character is she's made the leader because she is the oldest, but that only happened the day of because she had her birthday. So
literally the day of.
It's again, it's such a flaw in the system that they've designed where, to be fair, they probably didn't think that all the adults would die.
No,
but
they did not
the fact
think
that that's the system in place and that's what happened because of it, the whole thing's fucked. And
it's messed up.
It's kind of this interesting message of the separatists and the Earth Alliance, the Earth Gov, who hate each other so much and are just trying to fuck over the other, get away from the other, that they've put a system in play that completely neglects the betterment and needs of those children, and the kids just kind of have to deal with it.
That Jeff Limerick was probably going for anyway.
Yeah,
Exactly as he's saying.
He's a good person to kind of even tackle that idea, honestly.
Because Because
he's
he has
definitely one of
similar
mine.
idea with Sweet Tooth. It's a pretty similar idea.
Yeah.
Marvel.
Oh, so you've read Sweet Tooth as well. Nice.
Mm.
Yeah. You're right. It's basically the same thing, just not in space.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
Space Tooth.
have you
Space Tooth.
Space Tooth? That's a crossover I'd like to see. It'd be so sad.
It wouldn't shock me if they're the same universe. It wouldn't even shock me. It would not shock me.
Oh, that could have been why they were leaving. Like, have
yeah,
you seen it
yeah.
down here? It sucks. Reindeer kids everywhere.
Sucks, man. Don't come back here.
Have you? I haven't really seen any of the videos you've been working on. I've seen a lot of memes you've been posting. I've been enjoying those. But you working on anything for your channel?
My last video was like last month.
Last month. Okay. What was that about?
Trying to remember. It was about the Incredibles.
Nice.
Incredibles.
YouTube video.
Okay.
Yep.
You excited for Incredibles 3?
Yeah, I just heard about it.
Yeah.
Just heard about it last week. I was like, oh, well, shit.
Well, guess we'll do
What
that.
opportune timing.
At least they didn't wait like 15 years, like the first and second one, I guess.
Yeah, it was only that long.
Yeah.
Because
We're just getting.
it's my video, because I just mentioned, like, I wish they would expand a little more on this, because it feels like y'all could do more with this, but you're not doing that, and you
Yeah.
should. And by the way, are we going to catch the fucking mole guy or not? What's up?
You
It's kind of
guys, you
stupid
guys left
now.
me on the
This
edge of my
game's
seat
kinda
at the
pissing
end
me
of
off.
that
We're
one.
going to get this guy or not? Or we're wasting time.
Commit or don't.
Like,
Maybe
you almost had him and then you missed him. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? I thought we were professionals. What's going on?
They're
This
scrambling.
guy's like
man.
this is like a one and done villain. You know it.
Yeah. I will get excited about it. I'm honestly excited about the Fantastic Four movie that they'll do next year.
Yeah, I wasn't even thrilled about it at first. Now I'm hyped now. I saw the trailer. I'm really hyped. Like, yeah, I want to see this.
There's enough there where. Well, also we've never had a good Fantastic Four movie.
That's
We finally get
ridiculous. The
traditional
first one's good.
Galactus. I'm good. Fuck it. I'm good. I'm
The
good
first
right
one's
there.
pretty good.
I think the
We
first one's
actually
fun.
get the Galactus. Thank God.
Yeah, we're gonna get proper Galactus, not a weird cloud, and casting seems pretty strong.
Oh God,
honestly.
goddamn cloud. Don't remind me. I'm ready to stupid cloud. Oh God. That annoyed the
But
hell
a
out of me
pretty
so
good
bad.
Silver Surfer, though.
I do
They
like
did it
Silver
pretty
Surfer. We're getting a new one of that as well.
We're gonna get both Silver Surfers. I was a little confused by that. They kept explaining it.
Oh,
We're getting the male and female.
I think we're just getting the female Silver
It's just
Surfer.
a female. Okay. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
even care. I'm just like, so wait, we're getting both? What's going on?
Yeah, and that's probably where we'll also see the first appearance of our now Doctor Doom.
Robert
Yeah.
Von Doom.
Robert
Von Doom.
Robert Von Doomy Jr.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm not super excited for that, but I am curious how it's going to look anyway. I'm curious.
Yeah,
They're just doing multiverse stuff.
Yeah, I
They're
know.
like, well, we can't use this guy anymore, so we might as well introduce a new villain now.
But,
And what better villain than?
We got RDJ's number, right? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, how are we going to do this?
And he's not.
Multiverse.
We just
Okay.
killed him, so we might as well bring him back.
But multiverse.
Yeah.
I think I'll do something pretty good. With it being
I mean, at
such
least
a
with the
big
story,
villain.
multiverse it's critical to it anyway, so screw it.
Yeah, it's such a big villain for Marvel. And
Yeah. Like one
for it
of
to
the
be,
big villains.
Yeah, and
Also,
I know
my personal
multiverse
favorite
is our
villain.
thing. Your personal favorite. I mean, I think it's for a lot of people who love the comics. That's their go-to villain, and it's kind of weird that he's going to be the next big bad of everything when we haven't gotten a version of him as a villain in a Fantastic Four movie, which is kind of his thing. Or at least
I'm
this
assuming-
universe is.
I assume he's going to show up like somewhere in the Fantastic Four movie. It makes perfect sense because
Yeah.
you can't do Reed without Victor Von. You can't. It's not going to happen. You need both.
No.
Because
And
they're
it-
partners.
And it makes sense that with them casting Robert Downey Jr. and then Pedro Pascal is Mr. Fantastic. Age-wise,
Hell, I
they're
want-
the same.
I want
So-
their moments from the comics where every time like Reed tries to praise him, he gets more pissed off. It's hilarious every time. It gets funnier. It's
that
like,
is
it's like the nicer read. It's like the nicer read is the more of an asshole Doctor Doom becomes.
how much it bothers him. Yeah.
It's actually legit funny. I'm I'm sort of like Reed, will you shut up?
That is one thing I am looking forward to, is the MCU getting to do a version of it. I think that one thing they've always been really good at, I think, even with kind of the more recent stuff that people don't like, when it comes to an important event or a character that people really, really love, they pay attention and they give us a version of that typically we were looking for. I think this in particular is one of the most anticipated, just because we've had not great versions of that. The last one in particular is a really bad version of that. So
the 2015 one,
yeah.
I never watched that.
We don't talk about that. We just don't talk about it. Just don't.
Even just the look of him. I'm not the first person to say this, but he looks like a crash test dummy in a garbage bag for whatever reasons.
And he shits out green goo stuff.
He does do some green goo stuff.
It made no
green
sense.
Goo stuff?
Nah, don't need it.
If we're gonna talk about like random superhero movie news and green goo, we might as well talk about Josh Brolin being Green Lantern, right?
Is that a thing?
I heard about that.
Yeah, Josh Brolin supposedly gonna be Hal Jordan in James Gunn DC universe.
That's interesting.
Okay, so not
like
the
an older
Superman,
Hal Jordan,
but later on. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. Well, Nathan Fillion is going to be Guy Gardner in his Superman movie. That's happening, filming right now.
I actually saw that. It actually kind of fits. I kind of like it. Like, they gave like a really stupid like
in the bulk. The thing. Yeah, he either has like the weird faded crew cut.
I know what they're doing with that. I know what they're doing, but still.
I'm very excited about that Superman movie.
Yeah, they're all wearing the same team jackets. It's pretty funny.
Yes, yeah. That
I was sitting there like, really? We're bringing back team jackets? Okay. We're really doing this?
Is it time?
It's like, god damn, that's 90s as hell.
Yeah, this I think it'll be interesting to see kind of, the MCU isn't gone by any means, but I think people's interest in it isn't there. And now you have a new
you know what?
DCU.
It feels more like this is DCU remix. That's what I was really trying to do. Like, try and just like, you know what? We'll keep the same characters, but let's remix it.
We don't like dark and gritty, so let's just make this funny Guardians in the Galaxy version of all these characters now.
Yeah,
which is probably what's going to happen.
Even I was getting tired of the dark and gritty shit. Like, can we move on? So more pretty, a little more pretty.
Well, they saw Christopher Nolan's Batman and were like, "This is the only way to do DC stories now," because people love the Dark Knight.
Look,
so
when it's dark and gritty as Batman, that perfect is Batman. Come on, it works with him. It always works, Batman. Yeah, it's automatic.
We need like a dark and gritty Aquaman. What do you mean? Give him a beard. Make him Jason Momoa.
Oh,
hey, I actually do like Jason Momoa Aquaman. I actually
that's good.
Yeah. I do actually like him as Aquaman. Hey, he put respect on the character at least.
He did. I mean, they're good movies. I watched them.
Oh, well, boys, we've talked a lot today.
I think we did an episode.
We have. I would say we did a good episode. We should close it out, make it official. So I will say thank you, Higgins. Thank you, Soul, for talking all things Beetlejuice with me today.
Oh, hell yeah.
Looking forward to doing some more. Now, Soul, is there anything that you've got in the tank, anything you're working on that you would like to plug? Because this is the time and place.
I would just point folks to check out my last video about The Incredibles, since it was already announced in part 3 anyway. Because mine's all about part 2.
Perfect timing. How do you do it?
I didn't even know. I had no idea.
You just got a sense, got a feel for that sort of thing. No, it's great. Also, I will say, check out Soul's page regularly because he's posting so many good memes. I see at least a few every other day, I think, and get a good chuckle. So thank you. You're doing the Lord's work.
Good. I want that.
And I will say, cheers, guys. That's what I say on this normal show that we normally do. So I'll say it on a special episode. I'll remind Higgins to get that egg in him. Great inside joke. I don't know what it means anymore.
I kind of forgot too.
It's fine. We're having fun with it. That's all that matters. Higgins, would you like to say anything to round us out?
I mean, the obvious one is just to say Beetlejuice, right?
Fuck you.
But I could end up just doing like a daylight comes and they want to go home. That's our listeners. They want to go home.
And they should.
Because we're trapped them in the YouTube video.
Again.